Hi there, welcome to the practice questions on being able to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of two numbers. What I'd like you to do now is to pause the video and have a go at these four questions here. 2 are finding the highest common factor and C and D are finding the lowest common multiple. When you're happy with your answers, then restart the video and we'll go through the model answers together. So pause the video now and have a go at questions A, B, C and D. Hi, welcome back. Let's now go through these together. Question A then, highest common factor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write these in prime factor form, each of these numbers. So 40, I'm going to split into 2 and 20. I know 2 is my prime number. 20, I'm going to split into 2 and 10. 2 is a prime number. And then 10 I'm going to split into 2 and 5, which I know are both prime numbers. So I'm going to write this down as 2 times 2 times 2 times 5, and I've got this in its prime factor form. Now I'm going to do the same with 32. So here I've got 2 and 16, 2 being the prime number. Split 16 into 2 and 8, 2 being the prime number. Split 8 into 2 and 4, 2 again my prime number. And then 4 will again split into 2 and 2, which both are prime numbers. So I'm going to write this down underneath. 2 times 2, there's 5 2's this time, times 2, times 2, times 2. Both these now are written in prime factor form. And what I want to see is how many of these can I pair up. So in the first one I can pair up the 2 with the 2. I can pair up another 2 with another 2. And then another 2 with the other 2. None of these others that are remaining can be paired up in both lines. So what I now do is times the 3 that I can pair up together. So I do 2 times 2 times 2, which gives me my highest common factor, which is 8. Let's do the same with B. I'm going to split this. This time I know that 25 goes into both of these. 25 into 275 goes 11, so I can split it into 11 and 25. 11 is a prime number, so I can circle it. And then 25 can be split into 5 and into 5, both of which are prime numbers. So I'm going to write down 11 times 5 times 5. Let's do the same with 125. Well, that's clearly straight away can be split into 5 and 25. 5 being my prime number, and 25 will go 5 times 5. I'm now going to write this down underneath. 5 times 5 times 5. Both are now written in prime factor form. Let's see what I can pair up. I can pair up this group of 5 here and another group of 5. I then do 5 times 5 to give me my answer of 25, being the highest common factor. Now we move on to lowest common multiples. I'm going to use the same type of process here. I'm going to do my factor tree with the 18. So I've got 2 and 9. 2's my prime number. And 9 can then be split into 3 and 3, both of which are my prime numbers. I'm going to write this down in prime factor form. 2 times 3 times 3. I'll do the same to the 20. So I can split that into 2 and into 10. I can then circle the prime number. Can then split 10 into 2 and 5, both of which now are prime numbers. I'm going to write this down underneath. 2 times 2 times 5. And now what I'm looking for here is all of the terms, but the highest one. So if I have a look in here, I've got 3 times 3. All of these numbers must be included. So 3 times 3 is the first thing that I put down here. 3 times 3. That's the highest amount of 3's. Then I need my highest amount of 2's, which is in the second one, which gives me 2 times 2. So 3 times 3 gives me 9. 2 times 2 gives me 4. But I've also got to include the 5 as well, because all numbers must be included. This time it's just 1 times 5, which is going to give me 5. I can now multiply these together, which will give me my lowest common multiple. So 9 times 4 is 36. 36 times 5 is going to give me 180, which is my lowest common multiple. Let's try the same with this, the last one, D. Split the 16 now into 2 and into 8. 2 is my prime number. Can split my 8 into 2 and into 4. 2 again is my prime number. And now I'm going to split my 4 into 2 and into 2. Each of these are my prime numbers, so I can write down 2 times 2 times 2, and finally times 2 again. I can now do the same with the 24. So I've got 2 and 12. 2 being my prime number. Do the same with the 12 to give me 2 and 6. 2 being my prime number. And again with the 6, I can do 2 and 3, both of which are prime numbers. So write this down underneath, and I've got 2 times 2 times 2, and finally times 3. Let's look again at the highest amount of the 2's, which is this one here. There's 4 of them. So I've got 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And then I've got to include all the numbers. I've got the 3 here, there's only one of them. So I've got 1 lot 3. I times these two together, which will give me my answer of 48. I'm just going to write this over here. My final answer there, my lowest common denominator is 48.